Hello, friends, and welcome into NBA Weekly, brought to you by Man Crates. I'm Tom Downey. That's Harris Rubenstein. We're going to start with some NBA news, and we start really with some early entry news, namely Trae Young. He is heading into the NBA draft in, well, a not surpriser at all. This is so expected.
What do they say, Tom? You got to strike while the iron's hot or something. You got to make sure that he gets in the NBA draft. But I will say this whole he's going to be Steph Curry thing, shenanigans. I have his NBA comp for you, Tom. He's Eric Gordon.
Okay.
He's going to shoot a lot, not very efficiently, but he's going to shoot a ton. He's going to go to the Knicks. He's going to light up the Garden and just launch threes for his entire career. It's going to be great. I can't wait.
You mentioned Curry. He's item number 2 here. He is set to return tomorrow to NBA action for missing some time with ankle injuries.
The Warriors are starting to get healthy. They've sent 2 players down to the Santa Cruz Warriors, back down to the G League. So they're starting to get there. Durant's expected to come back with the next few weeks. Klay Thompson, they're still waiting on his thumb injury. But yes, Steph Curry will be coming back. He's missed a couple of games, or missed a lot of games this season, I should say, with an ankle injury, but he's missed the past 6 games with that right ankle sprain. But for the most part, he will be healthy, and he'll be back to crush the Hawks, because I know the Warriors are hungry for a big win.
All right, let's get then to number 3. We'll head over to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Tyronn Lue is stepping aside amidst health issues.
You know, Tom, people are talking. LeBron James, not a huge guy when it comes to physical or mental health issues. I don't think he cares because he was screaming at Tyronn Lue the other night. But Lue's missed a couple games this year with health issues. He's had to leave at halftime. He's been complaining that he's had chest pains and sleeping problems. When you have those kinds of health issues, Mike Budenholzer of the Atlanta Hawks had issues like that as well, as did Steve Clifford of the Charlotte Hornets. When you're having those problems, it's time to take a step back. He is expected to come back for the playoffs, but as of right now, no Tyronn Lue on the bench. They did win their first game with Larry Drew as the coach, though, against the Raptors last night.
Time for my favorite news item of the year, if not the week. Jordan Clarkson thinks dinosaurs were pets, and he says that he thinks that humans, aka the bigger people, were 3 times the size.
Bigger people.
And that we had T-Rexes as pets because that makes sense. Look, I don't know what's going on with NBA players and their education, but it is a failure. We got guys like Kyrie Irving thinking that the earth is flat. We got Jordan Clarkson thinking that dinosaurs were pets for humans because they were 3 times the size. What's going on, Harris? I just don't understand people.
What's going on, Tom,
How are we this dumb as a nation?
Is that no one should ever take educational advice from most NBA athletes. Like, this is one of the greatest headlines I've ever seen. It was Jordan Clarkson claims dinosaurs were pets for people. I love it. I think it's incredible. And do you know what? I do agree with Jordan Clarkson.
No, Harris, get off the show. You're done. Stop it. No, dinosaurs were not pets. Like, there's so much wrong with this from just a basic science perspective.
Well, you know, people are talking. I hear that Man Crates is actually coming out with a new dino box where you open it up and it has a little mini dinosaur in it. You can feed it, keep it as a pet. It's a great new promotion.
No, this is not a thing. Jordan Clarkson. I hope that he is kidding and he's messing with people because, like, really?
I will say this, all the great NBA hot takes about science have come on Richard Jefferson's podcast. Go listen to it. It's magic.
It is very,
beautiful.
Very true. All right, one more news item here. Brandon Jennings gets a 2nd contract.
No, this is fantastic. Yes, he is. He's getting a 2nd contract with the Milwaukee Bucks. He's only averaging 6 points and 5.5 assists, but he did score 16 points and 12 assists in his debut. He's just been a really nice player off the bench for them. The Bucks haven't exactly been winning games, and now we'll get to Giannis' injury in a little bit here, but it's great to see Brandon Jennings back in the NBA. He straight up dominated China. Not Jimmer Fredette dominating China, scoring 45 points a night, but Brandon Jennings looked mighty good in the Chinese league. It's good to see him back in the NBA.
Well, we'll see how long he's able to hold out here. This is a nice performance here with Brandon because a lot of talent, but injuries have played a big factor in his career.
Injuries and I also think there's a big premise around him that he's just not fit for the modern NBA, which he's not. But at the same time, it is really nice to see him back in the NBA.
We'll stick with the Bucks here. Giannis, what's the deal with his injured ankle? He did injure it. How long is he going to miss that?
He did. He's only going to miss the next couple games. It isn't deemed serious. They're going to take it kind of slow with him. He's only missed 10 games in 4 years. So for all of his length and all of his crazy limbs, he actually has been a generally healthy NBA player. Has dealt with some knee problems in the past, but that ankle sprain, not going to be serious. Came during the Clippers game. He was actually playing really, really well. He already had 12 points by the time the second quarter came around. So he'll be just fine. Nothing really too serious or nothing to worry about.
All right, folks, I am Tom Downey. That is Harris Rubenstein. We took you through the latest NBA news. Let's get into the latest NBA rumors here. First, For those of you watching the show for the first time, you'll see crying Jordans for each of these rumors. Harris, why don't you explain to the people what that means?
So 0 crying Jordans, it's the Mutombo finger wag. It's rejected. Get it out of here. It's fake news. 1 crying Jordan, it's a small shred of truth, maybe like a 25% chance. 2 crying Jordans, people are talking 50-50, strictly in the rumor category. 3 crying Jordans, it's pretty likely, about a 75% chance. And 4 crying Jordans, bang! From way downtown. It's obviously Mike Breen's famous call. 100% chance, real news.
Let's take it in then to these rumors. First up is Marcus Smart, set to return for the playoffs.
Now, this is an interesting one. We're going to give this one 3 crying Jordans because we aren't 100% sure if he's actually going to, but he seems to want to. And if there's going to be any NBA player who can come back from that kind of joint tendon injury in a thumb, it's Marcus Smart. But it is also Marcus Smart, one of the toughest guys in the NBA. It was initially deemed season ending. It's ironic because this is coming after he almost sliced his hand off after punching a picture frame. Then he gets another thumb injury, which then almost ends his season. So a lot of weird hand injuries for Marcus Smart this year, but he says that he's confident he'll return. And fun fact, he's been working out with Gordon Hayward. So maybe another Gordon Hayward rumor that Gordon Hayward might be returning to the NBA. But as for right now, we're only going to give this one 3 heads. But we have a reaction poll for the people at home. Who will win the East? Give us a heart for the Raptors, a thumbs up for the Cavs, a laughing face for the Celtics, or a wow face for other. Tom, I still think it's the Raptors.
Well, yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, sure, Toronto will win the East in the regular season. How about that?
Fine.
I will believe in Toronto once they actually do it in the playoffs. They, as I said this week, or I guess technically it was last week, the Virginia Cavaliers are the Toronto Raptors of the NBA, and I was proven so right by Virginia. Don't ask me how the rest of my bracket. My bracket went though was a complete and utter failure because everything else was wrong because it's all a gigantic mess. Anyway, we'll stick with the Boston Celtics. What about Isaiah Thomas heading back to Boston?
This would be just one of the craziest career turnarounds ever. Can you imagine if Isaiah Thomas came back to the Celtics?
I have a tough time seeing it.
I do as well, and we're only going to give this one crying Jordan face, mostly because the actual possibility of them giving him the amount of money that he wants is slim to none. They have a lot of contracts coming up. They have to give Kyrie a new extension coming up as well. But he said, quote, anything is possible. And, you know, obviously trying to quote Kevin Garnett, but look, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. 0% chance. I don't think it's going to happen.
All right.
If I would give this 0 heads, but at the same time, it's always it's free agency.
Anything is possible?
Anything is possible. There's always a chance. Slim chance.
I find it highly, highly unlikely.
Yes, exactly. And also Danny Ainge has a lot of pride, and I don't think it's gonna happen.
Oh, the Celtics won that trade.
Yeah,
so, all right, folks. Today's show is brought to you by Man Crates. If you know a guy that needs an awesome gift, get him a Man Crate at mancrates.com. They got barware, jerky grams, project kits, and so much more. No, they don't have those.
No, they don't have pet
That's a
dinosaurs.
joke from the Jordan Clarkson. It's not a real thing. But there's a lot of great stuff on Man Crates.
There is. There's a ton of great stuff. We've opened up a couple of the crates here on Chat Sports a couple times. They're great. They come with a crowbar. You feel really manly when you get opened up. They're great.
Let's keep it rolling then with some more NBA rumors. Next up, is Iman Shumpert going to opt in next year?
No, probably not. But at the same time, the Kings do want him to, and I think he might. I don't know. It's interesting work to have. We're going to give this one 3 heads, mostly because I think he's going to. I think he opt in. I think he's going to get traded afterwards. I don't think the Kings are going to actually end up keeping him.
I think Iman Shumpert's going to opt in because he's due $11 million.
He is due $11 million.
He's not going to turn that down.
The problem is that he hasn't played any games this year. The Kings. He's not going to end up playing any games for the Kings at all so far this year. He's going to sit out the rest of the season. I think he's going to get picked up by the Kings, and then he's going to get traded to a contender. He's still a good 2-guard in the league, whether it's maybe coming in off the bench for defense, whether it's coming in for a lot of sports stuff. I think it's going to end up being he's going to get picked up and then traded to a Western Conference team, personally. Look, Iman Shumpert has been kind of a disappointment ever since he was traded away from the Knicks. In fact, you could probably consider him to be an overall disappointment for his entire NBA career. I think that he's been a pretty big bust in terms of his overall draft prospect. He's a good player. He's a role player. But at the same time, he's not going to end up being a make-or-break guy when it comes to what's going to happen for the NBA playoffs. And again, if he's going to get picked up his option, it's $11 million, which for Iman Shumpert is probably more than what he's going to get on the open market. Probably will get picked up.
Yeah, I think $11 million is he's not going to get that on the open market, right? Like, there's no way. He's not good.
Maybe, I think he could get $10 million on the open market from a playoff team. Maybe like a 1-year deal, but I would have a problem with it.
All right, we'll keep it rolling then to our next rumor, and this has been one of the major ones around the NBA right now, the future with Kawhi Leonard. the Spurs, did they have a players-only meeting for him?
They did, but we're going to give this one 3 heads as well because we're not exactly sure what the meeting was for. That's why it has 3 heads. So we know that it was a players-only meeting, but at the same time, we don't know why they held it. Now,
or
the
how
report
it technically went.
Exactly. So the initial report was that it was held as a player-only meeting to try to coerce Kawhi Leonard to come back and basically plead and beg him to come back. However, at the same time, that's not what Danny Green says and what reports have come out saying since. So apparently what the meeting was, according to Danny Green and other Spurs players, is that they just held this meeting to just ask him what the heck is going on. Like, are you okay? Are you alive? Are you coming back this season? And then you had Manu Ginobili coming out in the press before the players-only meeting saying, I don't actually think he's going to end up coming out. So, look, it's been a crap show of a year for the Spurs and Kawhi Leonard. I don't think he's going to end up playing this year. I think he's going to come back for the postseason, but I don't think there's any reason he should come back for the regular season. I don't like it.
So there was a whole lot going on. The Woj report said that it was tense. It was a tense players-only meeting that was emotional at times. Danny Green says can't be any more incorrect, but didn't actually specify what it was. The San Antonio Express-News says, yes, there was a meeting, but it wasn't tense and that it went pretty well. I kind of think maybe the Express-News, maybe there's some truth to all of this, that maybe the players didn't view it as tense, but I think when you think back to sports, these are often very loud people.
I will say this. I will say this. If you can go step by step with Woj's overall kind of headlines about this, it's very clear who his source is. His source has been Kawhi this entire time. There's tension with him and the team. There's a players-only meeting that was also very tense. You have the entire team saying no, that none of this is going on, but Kawhi's camp is the one that's feeding Woj information. So I think it was tense for Kawhi. Apparently, according to the report, they kind of, as he explained it, ambushed him and kind of came up on him and surprised him. I don't think he's going to play in the regular season. I think this whole thing's been a crap show. But apparently, another update to this story that I want to let people in on, apparently the Spurs are offering him a 5-year, $200 million contract this offseason.
Well, of course they are.
They're offering the Supermax.
They're going to give him this, like, it's Kawhi Leonard. Of course you do. Absolutely have to do that.
So just saying.
So that's the latest on Leonard. We will keep you updated on this story throughout the rest of the offseason because, well, and there's just a lot going on here with Kawhi, and it's been one of the main rumors around the NBA for quite a little bit. Let's get back to some front office talks. Chauncey Billups, could he head to Detroit? There's kind of a lot going on here as well, Harris.
We're going to give this one, people are talking, we're going to give this one 2 heads because at this point we're not really sure what's going on because this whole thing has been a crapshoot. So apparently he was supposed to replace Stan Van Gundy as the GM of the team. Then Chauncey Billups came out and adamantly denied the report, saying that he would never push for a job that is not open. But we know that the Pistons are looking to reshape the entire front office coming up this season because, let's just be honest, they're
didn't go well.
No, it did not go well at all. I think we've also seen the end of head coaches also being the GMs of teams. I think, I
don't think it works.
You had it with Flip Saunders in Minnesota. That didn't work out. It didn't work out with Doc and the Clippers. It hasn't worked out with Stan Van Gundy as well with the Pistons. We'll see what happens with Tom Thibodeau with the T-Wolves. I think it's almost going to die over the next couple of years. I think Thibodeau is going to get the GM title taken away.
Even the Spurs don't do that.
No, and they have Greg Popovich. And I think that you're going to see, especially a lot of successful teams like the Celtics or the Warriors or the Raptors, all of those teams have separate coaches with their GMs. And I think that's going to – it should be the precedent for the NBA, but I think this kind of report shows you that they're trending away from it. Chauncey Billups will end up being the GM for a team. He was going to end up being the Cavs GM, but he ended up turning it down. So he will end up with a team. Whether or not it's the Pistons, we'll see. But the Pistons are done. They got to get this figured out. I think Stan Van Gundy's out.
All right, let's get then to our final rumor of the day. Jabari Parker, will he not be on the Bucks next season?
I personally think that he's not going to be there, but we're only going to give this 2 heads officially.
Firmly
in a rumor for now.
But if you had to guess, that's
if I had to guess, I'd say no. He's going to want a max contract. And all right, if Alan Crabb can get a max contract, then Jabari Parker can get a max contract.
But that's Portland. That's different. And the Nets, technically. Okay, so
if Otto Porter can get a max contract, then Jabari Parker can get a max contract.
You and I heard this before the show, and then that reminded me. The Nets will do it.
Exactly.
The Nets will give
someone
Parker
will give
a
him
there you go.
Someone will give it to him. The Magic will give it to him. The Suns will give it to him. Because it doesn't matter.
I wouldn't because I don't trust him to stay healthy.
Former top 5 pick.
Love Jabari.
I think he's going to end up getting that contract. Look, and they offered him such a crappy deal. 3 years, $54 million is not what Jabari Parker is looking for. He almost got traded at the deadline. All right, we didn't get the report as to who it was to.
I would assume Nets. I assume everyone for the Nets.
I have a theory, and you're going to call me crazy for this.
I often do.
I think the Warriors were looking to trade for him.
Okay, well, what are they going to do? Like, what would they have offered?
Trade a first-round pick.
Clearly, they 30th overall pick for Jabari
Clearly, they
Parker.
were trying to get rid of him. How about this? Would you trade if you're the Bucks? Would you accept Jordan Bell and a first-round pick for Jabari Parker?
No, I wouldn't.
Really?
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, I would. I would in a second. You get
because I don't think Jordan Bell is that good outside of Golden State.
That's fair, but I think that the Warriors were going to be. I think the Warriors were the team that were going after him. They were looking for some players, and he would have been an amazing off the bench.
Fun fact: Harris's "Who Says No" trades are often terrible.
My Kawhi for Damian Lillard trade offer.
Awful trade.
No, it was a great trade.
Yeah,
it
for
made
the
sense
Blazers.
for both sides.
Didn't make sense to the Spurs.